Hey guys, I hope all of you guys are doing really well. Today, continuing with the Slant series, we are going to be reviewing the SuperSlant from RazoRock. Now, before we get to the Razor specifications, one of the things that we need to keep in mind for the SuperSlant. Now, RazoRock used to have a slant razor called as the Wonder Bar. And they stopped making the Wonder Bar and then they launched the SuperSlant. Obviously, if you notice, out of all the slants that I've shown you till now in the Razor series, this one has the most amount of blade torquing. That means the blade will be extremely rigid and should help in a really smooth shave. However, there is a caveat. Number one, this razor is not cheap. A brand new razor costs 130 bucks. I know that I will bring it up in the razor specifications, but I wanted to go ahead and bring that up right away. So that's number one. Number two, in terms of base plates for this razor, there are 12 base plates. I think that's too many choices. So for the purposes of the shave today, obviously this is the razor we're going to use. I am going to use a second use feather blade. So for the soap, we're going to use Citrus Bay Rum from Subtle Art Soap Company. For the brush, it's a brand new brush from Maggots. Very nice, simple, synthetic brush. Synthetic brushes these days, they really don't cost too much, guys. Something new. Look at this, guys. I found a shop where I went ahead and I sent my logo and they printed this out. I think this came out really nice, shave in solitude. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put hot water in this and I'm gonna load, I'm gonna soak my brush in this. We are gonna be using a different shaving bowl today. It's got these nice little dots. It really builds up a very good lather. Obviously this is themed after Starry Night by Van Gogh. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to build the lather, and I'm also going to put a link to this bowl in case you guys want to check it out. As soon as the lather is built, I'll show you guys how the lather looks. Alright, let me get the lather made, but before that, let's go ahead and load the blade. So obviously it's a 3-piece razor. You open this up, take out the base plate, we put the blade onto the top cap. Alright, given the amount of torque, as you can see, the blade is not really going down. So what I do at this point of time is I will pinch the blade in. You could hear it go crack. Then I will hold the side caps like this, over here and over here. I will drop the top cap from the bottom and then pinch and hold that as well. And then I can already feel the tension on my fingertips and then tighten this down. So now the blade is loaded, as you guys can see, and I'm going to first take you guys through the razor specifications. As soon as we've done through that part of the video, I'm going to lather up and let's start the shave. So before we get into the razor specifications, let's take just a moment to take a look at how these stainless steel razors are machined. So I'm just going to pause this for a second. So you notice that they require an entire solid piece of steel, and then they go forward, they remove section by section, and then that particular razor head comes to life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to definitely go ahead and leave a link to this video in case if you guys want to see it. So now that we saw how a razor head is milled out of a solid piece of steel, let's take a look at this RazoRock SuperSlant and how the head size compares to a normal razor. So this over here is a RazoRock Next Level. It's a normal looking razor. This overall height is normal of what many other razors you might go ahead and get. However, take a look at the size of the RazoRock SuperSlant. Given that it needs to torque the blade so much, the overall height is a lot more. What that means is the stainless steel block which will be required to mill something like this is going to be significantly larger and taller compared to a regular razor head. The reason that I'm sharing that with you is twofold. So a lot of the CNC work required to mill something which is going to torque the blade in this way is going to be a lot more different and a lot more difficult compared to milling a simpler razor head like this. That's number one. Number two is the overall material that will be used is going to be significantly more as well, because the overall chunk of stainless steel needs to be a lot more thicker. And as you guys saw, once the CNC mills away the portion of that stainless steel block, that is complete waste. You can't reuse that particular steel. So keep this in mind before we move into the razor specifications. So now that we are in the razor specifications, the reason that I showcase that to you guys is to get a little bit of flavor of why this costs 130 bucks and why every plate costs 65 bucks. I think it's primarily based on the kind of machining which is required to create the SuperSlant. Do I think it's still high? Yes, I do. But at least there is some kind of justification in terms of why the price is a little bit on the higher side. So leaving that, in terms of weight and blade gap and blade exposure. Now, the thing is that this particular razor comes with 12 different plates. Too much of choice, okay? It goes ahead and starts from L1 to L3. So you have, let's say, and within each one of these, you have 4 different points as well. For example, the L1 standard, plus, and the open comb version as well. So you have 4 subcategories in each one of these, right? Now, after I recorded this video, I also went ahead and I picked up an L2++ plate. Now, if you guys have seen my videos, I have a pretty hardy skin, which is able to jump back from a daily 3-pass BBS shave every day. However, I also found that the L2++ plate is a little too much for me. So I would recommend that the highest that I would say 8 out of 10 people should go is a L2+. So either get the L2 standard, like you see over here, or get the L2+, and 8 out of 10 people should be good. If you need it a little sharper, needed to cut a little bit more hair, swap it out with a sharper blade, like a feather or something like that, and you should be fine. So if you're buying once, just buy once with the L2+ or the L2 plate. Alright, this is the lather which is built up. So much of lather is there in the brush. I'm going to take out a little bit of the lather because I think the brush is loaded a little too much. This should be okay. Still have lots of lather. Let's begin the shave. So RazoRock SuperSlant plate L1++ with a second use feather blade. Let's start. First pass with the grain, minimal pressure. Just let the razor fall down slowly on your hand and just shave. That's the beauty of slants, guys. Just slices through hair. So once I'm done, Joe's soap from Subtle Art Soap Company are again very, very good. Very well priced. I like his scents, but for me personally, they're slightly less in terms of strength than what I would have liked. All right, we're done with pass 1. Let's wash up, come back for pass 2. We're ready for pass number 2, across the grain. All right, cheeks are done. Let's do the neckline. All right, we have done with pass 2. Let's wash up, come back for pass 3. We've washed the razor. Let's do pass number 3, against the growth. With the L1 plus plate and the kind of hair that I have to apply a little bit more pressure or I feel I'm not getting the hair completely. Using the residual slickness. Residual slickness is pretty decent. Pretty decent. My left hand to use for shaving is still not great. I really need to work on this. Now, this area of the nose, given how tall the overall razor head is, can get a little bit troublesome. But I'm sure that you'll figure out how to manage. These slightly tough spots are the ones where I feel if I had chosen probably the L2 plus or plus plate, it may have been a little better. Alright, we're going to wash up and see how is it that we did and whether we need to do any touch-ups. So overall, I don't feel any touch-ups are required. I think we had a great shave. I do, however, feel that I did go a little harder than what I needed to in certain areas of the face in terms of pressure used because I was trying to get that BBS. So this is where probably, choosing something like the L2 or L2 plus plate might have helped me rather than the one that I have. But that's on me. That's got nothing to do with the razor. The razor shaved really well. So we have wet the alum. Yeah, my typical areas. And a little bit on the cheek as well. Because like I said, the pressure that we were using Here, a little bit on the neck also. Nothing major, but I think getting a slightly higher plate for my skin type would have helped me. The good thing is, although the razor costs 130 bucks, if you just want to get a higher plate, they cost 65, which is not cheap, but you're not paying as much as the razor. All right, I'm gonna keep this on for 30 seconds, wash it off, put some splash. I don't have a matching splash, and then come back to you guys. First, I'll take you through what my subjective rating of this razor is, and then let's talk about final thoughts. So let's take a look at the subjective rating of this razor as per my preferences and the weightages that I put for each one of the things that matter to me. So in terms of value, I will give it good, given what we already went ahead and we talked about, the amount of CNC work which is required to create a head like the RazoRock SuperSlant, and the amount of wastage that you'll have from each head as well, given the amount of torquing that the razor head needs to do, the size of the stainless steel chunk or nugget that is used to create a single razor head has to be significantly larger than a normal razor head. So I'm going to go with the score of good. Fit and finish is good as well. Stainless steel, it's not a mirror finish or anything very jewelry-like, and that is what most of the razor heads from RazoRock get. I think the finish is good. Balance is great. Obviously, it boils down to what is the handle that you're going to use. So based on whether you want a short handle, long handle, heavier handle, lighter handle, the balance works out to be perfect based on your specific use case. I think it shaves really well. But like I said, here is where I am dinging it slightly. I'm not giving it a grade because of the multiple choices that you have. See, at times I feel that too much of choice is bad as well. And given that it's 65 bucks for going ahead and replacing a plate that you don't like, I'm not too much of a fan of it, but it does go ahead and cut the hair well. So I will give it a rating of good. Aggressiveness, it's good. Like I said, please, my suggestion is don't go beyond a plate of L2 plus. You want to go more than that, be my guest. But I think L2 plus or an L2 standard should be good enough for 8 out of 10 people. So based on these particular ratings that I've given, the overall score that the razor receives from me is 78.75% out of a total 100%. So now let's get back to my final thoughts about the RazoRock SuperSlant. So guys, we're back. You have already seen my subjective rating. By the way, I went ahead and I used Clubman Pinard's Bayram because this was a Bayram scent that I used for the soap. And now let's go ahead and talk about my final thoughts. So if you're getting into the world of slants and you've tried all the others and you want to take it up a notch, I think this is beautifully machined. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but this is definitely a keeper. This is something that you can go ahead, you can use for a long period of time. It's made out of 316L stainless steel. It's definitely going to last you. I definitely liked the razor. Like I said, be a little careful in terms of the plate that you choose, because or else you have to spend 65 bucks to go ahead and get one more. In terms of would I recommend this? Absolutely. I would even go as far as to say that I can recommend this to a brand new person getting into slants as well, because it was very, very nicely machined. It shaves really well. And if you've been able to get that Goldilocks plate, I think you will love this as a daily shaver as well. So that's about it, guys. I hope that this video helped you. As always, if you did like it, I would love for you to go ahead and leave a comment, leave a like if you can, and subscribe if you want to. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.